Good morning, classmates. Good morning, ma'am. We are the Group 3 reporters, and our topic is all about the material management. What is the material management? Material management is a total concept having its definite organization to plan and control all types of materials. Also can be defined as the function of the business that is responsible for coordination of planning, sourcing, purchasing, moving, and storing materials. There are 4 sub-functions in material management. First is the material planning and control. Second is purchasing. Third, storekeeping. And lastly, inventory control. So these sub-functions will be explained to you by my group mates later. So let's move on to the 3 basic questions that is concerned in material management. What material are required, how many are required, when are they ready? So why do we need to know these 3 basic questions? Simply because choosing the right material when manufacturing a new product is vital for its success. From design to manufacturing, choosing the right materials will ensure it to the highest possible standard for the finished product. So next is the objective of material management. The objective is to balance the demand for material with the supply of material, that an appropriate quantity of material is available when they are needed. Next is the scope of material management. Material management strives to ensure that the material cost component of the total cost to be least. So in order to achieve this, the control is exercised in the following fields: material planning, purchasing, storekeeping, inventory control, receiving inspection and dispatching, value analysis, standardization and variety reduction, material handling and traffic, disposal, scrap and surplus material preservation.
Now let us discuss what is the importance of material management to the overall operation of the company. Importance of material management. First, it ensures that there is enough stock to prevent shortage in production. Time is a very important factor in a company's overall operation. With poor material management, the production will have insufficient stock of materials needed for a product that they wanted to manufacture. So, workers will be affected. Because of that, there are delays due to the insufficient materials. Therefore, material management is very important for the company to operate continuously without delays and insufficiency. The next one is it helps in determining the materials needed to be ordered. With the wrong calculations of the materials needed, it will result to over or understocking of materials. So material management helps in determining the materials needed to be ordered. And because of that, costs are minimized without obstructions or hindrance in production. Next is satisfactory quantity production. Material management enables the company to produce sufficient quantity and quality. Because material management helps with providing proper and sufficient equipment, so the company can offer satisfactory quality of production to the market and to its customers. Next is it increases productivity. Material management has a significant impact on the labor productivity within a company. So if a company doesn't have enough and appropriate materials, workers will likely be unproductive. So with appropriate and proper material management, workers are motivated and productive enough to perform their tasks. Last is, it minimizes waste. Waste are materials that are damaged or cannot be used or unwanted or transported out by the company. Inappropriate material storage results to waste generation. But because of material management, companies are able to process and properly manage material storage to minimize waste. After discussing the importance of material management, there are some challenges faced in material management. First is purchase order revisions and inaccuracies. Shipping and receiving errors causing inaccurate inventory levels, inaccurate material inventory counts, and inventory adjustments.
Please feel free to ask any question and clarifications about our topics. Thank you.
Okay, let's proceed to the material planning and control. Material planning is a scientific technique of determining in advance the requirement of raw materials, ancillary parts and components, spare, and etc. as directed by the production program. It is the overall planning activity. So, in material planning, there are some benefits like avoids the practice of crisis management. It helps to perform effectively and efficiently due to proper forecast, and it helps them in materials budgeting, and it really helps in purchase planning. So, there are two factors that influence the activity of material planning, the macro factor and the micro factor. In macro factor, it includes price trends, business cycles, and government import policy, while in micro factor, it involves plant capacity, utilization, rejection rates, lead times, inventory levels, working capital, delegation of powers, and communication. So let us proceed to our next slide. There are techniques of material planning. One of the techniques of material planning is bill of material explosion. The basis for material planning is the forecast demand for the end products. When we say forecast demand, it is a field of predictive analytics which tries to understand and predict customer demand to optimize supply decisions. Forecasting techniques such as weighted average method, exponential smoothing, and time series models are used for the same. Once the demand forecast is made, it is possible to go through the exercise of material planning. Bill of materials is a document which shows list of materials required to unit consumption location code for a given product. An explosive chart or an explosion chart is a series of bill material grouped in a matrix form so that combined requirements for different components can be done, and various materials are arrived at from the demand forecast using bill of materials through explosion charts. Thus, material requirement plan will lead to be the development of delivery schedule of the materials and purchasing of those material requirements. Next slide will be material requirement planning. To add on, it is a tech-based system that helps to plan production schedule, purchase of raw material, and delivery of final product, as well as manage inventory levels. There are some objectives. It ensures smooth running of production schedule, helps GIT implementation. GIT stands for just in time. It ensures that the customer demands are fulfilled on time. There are also advantages like it ensures timely completion of customer orders, and it saves cash from getting tied up. There is no risk of product obsolescence or wastage, and there are some data needed like the bill of materials, needed quantity of final product, shelf life of materials, and current stock quantity. Of course, if there are some advantages, there are also drawbacks or disadvantages or hindrances, like it sometimes increase inventory cost or it make an organization less flexible. The efficiency of workers could delay the product process, and it is highly dependent on data. And of course, to complete the material planning program, of course, there is a need of master production schedule or MPS. This MPS also needs firm orders from known customers, aggregate production plan, and forecast of demand from random customers. Then it will proceed in the MRP, which needs also inventory design changes, bill of material file, inventory transactions, and inventory records file. So, MRP will result to a production activity reports. The production activity reports has two reports, the primary reports and the secondary reports. In primary reports, you will find planned order schedules for inventory and production control. While on the secondary reports, you will find exceptions reports, planning reports, and reports for performance control. And that's it for material planning and control.
Stores management. Store is an important component of material management since it is a place that keeps the material in a way by which the material are well accounted for and maintained safe and are available at the time of requirement. Store management involves in the physical control of materials, preservation of stores, minimization of the obsolescence and damage through time disposal and efficient handling, maintenance of store records, proper location and stocking. Store plays a vital role in operation of the company. It is directly equated as a money lockup. Literally, store refers to the place where materials are kept under custody. Store management is a specialized function which can contribute significantly to the overall efficiency and effectiveness of the material functions. The store has its function. First is to receive new material, equipment, components, tools, and other items and accounts for them. Second is to provide adequate and proper storage and preservation to the various items. Third is to meet the demands of the consuming departments by proper issues and accounts. Fourth is to minimize obsolescence, surplus, and scrap through the proper codification, preservation, and handling. The basic responsibility of store is to act as a custodian or the controlling agent for the materials to be stored and provide service to the user of the materials. Also, it is to preserve the stored materials and carry out the conservation to prevent deterioration in the quality of the stored materials. Store is to ensure the safety of the all items and materials in the store, which means protecting them from pilferage, theft, damage, deterioration, and fire. The codification is also part of storekeeping, which means a process of representing each item by number, digits, which indicates the group, subgroup, type, and the dimension of the item. There are 9 objectives of codification. First is bringing all the items, such as classification or group. Second is to enable putting up any future items in its proper place. Third, to classify an item according to its characteristics. Fourth, to give a unique code number to each and avoid duplication and ambiguity. Fifth, to reveal excessive variety and promote standardization and variety deduction. Sixth, to establish common language for the identification of items. 7. To fix essential parameters for specifying items. 8. To specify items as per national and international standards. 9. To enable data process and analysis. There are also advantages and disadvantages of codification. First advantage of codification is that many firms has reduced the number of items. It enables systematic grouping of similar items and avoid confusion caused by long description of items, since standardization of names is achieved through codification. It serves as a starting point of simplification and standardization. It helps avoiding duplication of items and result in the minimization of the number of items, leading to accurate record. Enables easy recognition of an item. Last is, if items are coded according to the sources, it is possible to book the items while ordering The disadvantages of coding or codification is the mistakes may be in writing codes and in difficult to find out correct codes. Second is code may be misunderstood. Last is when large number of code is used for different materials, there may be confusion and it may be difficult to locate the materials without knowing the codes. Codification is important for materials when it is coded in such a way that storing, issuing, and identifying of materials become easy. Also, classification and codification of materials are steps in maintaining stores in a systematic way.
So now I will discuss to you the inventory control or management. So first, I will give you the meaning of inventory. So inventory generally refers to the materials in stock. It is also called the idle resource of an enterprise. So inventories represent those items which are either stocked for sale or they are in the process of manufacturing or they are in the form of materials which are yet to be utilized. So let's move on to inventory management and inventory control. So first is the inventory control. So inventory control, also called as stock control, it is the process of ensuring the right amount of supply which is available in an organization. So with the appropriate internal and production controls, the practice ensures the company can meet customer demand and delivers financial elasticity. So the goal of inventory control is to maximize profits with minimum inventory investment without impacting customer satisfaction. So now let's proceed to inventory management. So what is inventory management? Inventory management is the act of keeping track of your e-commerce company's stock goods and monitoring their weight, dimensions, amounts, and location. The goal of inventory management is to minimize the cost of holding inventory by helping business owners know when it's time to replenish products or buy more materials to manufacture them. So, what are the reasons for keeping inventories? So first, to stabilize production. The demand for an item fluctuates because of the number of factors. For example, is the seasonality, production schedule, and other more. So the inventories or the raw materials and components should be made available to the production as per the demand failing, which results in stock out, and the production stoppage takes place for want of materials. Hence, the inventory is kept to take care of this fluctuation so that the production is smooth. So next is to take advantage of price discounts. Usually, the manufacturers offer discounts for bulk buying. And to gain this price advantage, the materials are bought in bulk, even though it is not required immediately. Thus, inventory is maintained to gain economy in purchasing. Next is to meet the demand during the replenishment period. The lead time for procurement of materials depends upon many factors like location of the source, demand, supply, and other more. So, inventory is maintained to meet the demand during the procurement or replenishment period. So, next is to prevent loss of orders or sale. In this competitive scenario, one has to meet the delivery schedules at 100% service level. Means they cannot afford to miss the delivery schedule, which may result in loss of sales. To avoid, the organizations have to maintain inventory. So next, Lastly is to keep pace with changing market conditions. The organizations have to anticipate the changing market sentiments, and they have to stock materials in anticipation of non-availability of materials or sudden increase in prices. So, why is inventory management or inventory control important? So, effective inventory management and control is essential for ensuring a business has enough stock on hand to meet customer demand. If inventory management is not handled properly, it can result in a business either losing money on potential sales that can be filled or wasting money by stocking too much inventory. So inventory management also helps your business in a number of other ways. So first, it helps you avoid spoilage. If you're selling a product that has an expiry date, like food or makeup or other more items which have its expiry date, there's a very real chance it will go bad if you don't sell it in time. So managing inventory effectively helps you avoid unnecessary spoilage. So next is it helps you avoid dead stock. So dead stock is stock that can no longer be sold, but not necessarily because it expired. It could have gone out of season, out of style, or otherwise become irrelevant. By adopting a diligent strategy, you can address this costly inventory mistake. So next is it helps you save on storage costs. So warehousing is often a variable cost, meaning it fluctuates based on how much product you're storing. When you store too much product at once or end up with a product that's difficult to sell, your storage cost will go up. Avoiding this will save you money. So lastly is that inventory management improves cash flow. So remember, inventory is product you've likely already paid for with cash, and you're going to sell it for cash. But while it's sitting in your warehouse, it remains stagnant, stored in the warehouse. It definitely not a cash. It just stay as an item which is stored in the warehouse. So imagine that you are renting for warehouse and you are gonna pay your landlord an item. Will he or she accept it? No, because you are obliged to pay cash and not an item. So this is why it's important to factor inventory into your cash flow management. Inventory directly affects sales and expenses. Both of these elements factors heavily into how much cash you have on hand. In short, better inventory management leads to better cash flow management. When you have a solid inventory system, you'll know exactly how much product you have in real time. And based on sales, you can project when you'll run out so you can replace it before then. Not only does this help ensure you don't lose sales, it also lets you plan ahead for buying more by ensuring you have enough cash set aside. So that's all for inventory control and management.
Lastly is the purchasing. What is purchasing? It is a business or an organization attempting to acquire goods or service to accomplish its goals. Purchasing department, also called procurement department, buys materials based on the purchase requisition from user department, store department, and annual production plan. There are four basic purchasing activities. First, selecting suppliers, negotiating and issuing purchase order. Second, expediting delivery from suppliers. Third, acting as a liaison between suppliers and other company departments. Fourth, looking for a new product, materials, and supplier that can contribute to company objectiveness. Next is the purchase system. Purchase system is a set of processes used to acquire goods and services for an organization. Under this are forward buying, tender buying, blanket order system, zero stock, rate contract, reciprocity system contract, stock level, and cost. Forward buying occurs when retailer purchase units during a particular period, hold some of them in inventory, and then sell them in subsequent period. Tender buying invites bids for a project except for a formal offer. Blanket order system, which a customer places with its supplier to allow multiple delivery dates over a period of time. Zero stock, no on-hand inventory, is to order the exact quantity that will be sold. Rate contract or rate of agreement is procurement cost reduction strategy aimed at standardizing procurement prices of commonly procured homogeneous and price varying inputs. Reciprocity, practice of exchanging things with business to other business for mutual benefits. System contract are exclusive contracts with designated supplier for specific commodities of goods or services. Stock level, production parts and material are checked against blueprint and specification. Cost is the material handling section is responsible for the transport of material of various departments.